My name is James Bridgeforth. I'm a young and very successful investor who has generated tens of thousands of dollars investing in the stock and crypto markets. And in this video, I'm breaking down two of the biggest cryptocurrencies in the entire market, XRP versus Bitcoin. When diving into this video and breaking down the difference between the two, one, you have XRP on one hand, which is going to be an altcoin. And then you have Bitcoin on the other hand, which is going to be the tide that raises all ships. See, the way that it works in the last decade of the crypto market is that Bitcoin is the tide that raises all ships. So if Bitcoin takes off in the upward direction, then XRP can double that return. And if the same way that if Bitcoin goes down maybe 5%, XRP could go down 10 or 15%. But the difference between the two is mainly going to be their use cases and the way they're viewed as cryptocurrencies in their space. See, when we have a currency, you want it to be fungible, divisible, a store of value, and also a medium of exchange. So when we look at cryptocurrencies, we also want to look at it from the perspective that if it's going to be used as a currency, then we need to look at it and see, does it fit the actual description of what we like a currency to be? And the reason we came to this conclusion is because when we dive into the monetary system, we can see that our dollar is not a store of value, which is a main reason and problem why we don't really use it as a store of value in our system. So when you look at many other people and they're putting their money into all these different asset classes outside of the dollar, it's because the dollar isn't storing the value how they would like it to. So that's why we move into cryptocurrencies and digital assets, and we want to look at it and see, do these cryptocurrencies check these boxes? Because if they do, then we can realize that this is probably the most finite and hard secured asset or cryptocurrency in the entire market. And we look at it from that perspective, we can even see that XRP isn't decentralized because XRP actually has an issuer, a founder, and an owner. See, the way that XRP works is that somebody actually created this company and they decided to issue crypto tokens out of it. But when you have Bitcoin on the other side, which is completely decentralized, there is no pure owner of Bitcoin. It is a free market that everybody is able to participate in that is decentralized. So it doesn't have a controlled owner. But when you have XRP that has a controlled owner that could own up to 80% of the supply of XRP, and at any moment they could sell their XRP for Bitcoin, just like that, then the price of XRP is going to tank drastically. And many reasons that people may look at XRP compared to Bitcoin is because that they see that XRP gets great returns in the short run. But if you look at long-term success, you can see on this chart that I'm about to provide you here that if you price XRP in Bitcoin, then you can see that it's going down all time. So when you want to compare an asset class or a certain stock or whatever it may be, so if you use Bitcoin as the structure of your portfolio and you want to price everything in Bitcoin, you can do so because you can understand when you mark it up against other cryptocurrencies. Yeah, these cryptocurrencies may go up 100% in a month or even 100% in 2 weeks, and you could sit back and see that Bitcoin may be going up 5 to 10% in those 2 weeks. But you need to understand that over time, Bitcoin is outperforming all of those assets because when you price these assets in Bitcoin, they're actually going down. See, when you price all of these assets in a dollar that can be diluted, you're easily misled in the wrong direction. So if they're creating more and more dollars, yeah, the nominal value of the dollar continues to grow. So you're looking at these charts and seeing, man, all of these stocks and assets are going up over time. I need to invest in those. But it's because this dollar is constantly being printed. This is the main reason why the dollar isn't viewed as a store of value. So when you look at XRP and all these altcoins, many people are looking at them because they can get great short-term growth. But you also want to realize that stop looking at all these other altcoin and meme coins as a way to find the next Bitcoin when you still have Bitcoin in front of you and it still has great room for future growth. So when you look at XRP and how it has a great use case in the banking industry, and when you look at Bitcoin and how it has a great case in replacing our entire monetary system because of the way that it's used as a store of value, I'm not saying that you can't make money with XRP. It's just that as an investor, stop trying to swing trade these markets. So if you're not familiar with crypto goes into 4-year cycles where it's basically going to have a crypto winter, a crypto summer. There's a halving cycle. There's markup phases. There's a lot of phases in this cycle. And many people like to try and catch the crypto summer where these altcoins are going to run 100, 200%. And they hold on to these altcoins too long because they're becoming greedy. And then the altcoins tank when the winter season comes. So instead of trying to swing trade these altcoins such as XRP, Solana, Doge, some of the meme coins as well. Stop trying to swing trade these and just hold on to Bitcoin long term, because you can see in the chart that I provided that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that is truly growing over long term. So if you want to swing trade these cryptocurrencies, maybe get 100-200% and roll them over into Bitcoin, that's also a great way to do so. You just have to be very skilled in doing it, which is the exact reason as to why many people get caught just holding on to their money and just watching these cryptocurrencies fall, when if you just bought Bitcoin for the long term, you would be in a much greater position than you are today. So instead of just going on social media and looking at all these armies that are surrounded by these cryptocurrencies such as XRP, take the time to actually do the knowledge. There are many people out there who are just screaming from the rooftops that XRP is going to $100. But if you just take the time to truly understand Bitcoin as an asset and truly understand its role in the entire monetary system, yes, XRP could and possibly have a great use case in the banking system. But when we're talking about Bitcoin, that could potentially replace the entire monetary system as we know it. And many countries are already starting to adopt Bitcoin and own Bitcoin. Even Wells Fargo is using it as a reserve asset, the same way that banks used to hold gold in their vaults. You can understand that Bitcoin is one of the most reliable assets because it's one of the most best performing assets over the last decade. And then you even have the biggest asset management company in the entire world, BlackRock, holding Bitcoin as an asset. So if you understand that the largest asset management class is holding Bitcoin as a reserve asset, then it has to be a legitimate way for you to store your wealth. But don't take it from my mouth. I want you to actually go out there and verify everything that I'm saying. Everything that I'm saying is well-known information. All you have to do is take the time to do the knowledge that will set you up for financial freedom. Because if you continue to look at all this hype and get to yourself and think that I can get 100-200% returns in 1 to 2 weeks, yes, you can definitely do that with altcoins and meme coins, but it comes with high risk tolerance, and a lot of investors are not skilled enough to take on large positions like that without losing their money. Just sit back, buy Bitcoin, and understand the growth and knowledge that you will get from doing so, and just watch your money continue to grow. So if you want to look at Bitcoin as a great way to grow your wealth in a monetary system, as we're nearing out towards my price predictions of around $200,000 to $300,000 per coin, which is going to be a 2 to 3x on your money from where we sit today, you can even just start to dollar cost average every single day into Bitcoin and watch how you can use Bitcoin as a way to store your value and save the time that you've been putting in. Because there's a lot of people that are constantly putting their time and trading it for one of the most easily manipulated currencies in the entire world. So if you're tired of doing that and you want to store your wealth into a finite asset such as Bitcoin, I just suggest going ahead and using it as one of your savings accounts, putting away a little bit of money every single time you get paid, maybe every single time you do a task or a chore around the house, whatever it may be. This could be your way and your key to financial freedom. And don't get sidetracked. All the other altcoins and meme coins are solely distractions from you focusing on the real wealth building tool. Everything else just falls after Bitcoin is the tide that raises all ships. And if you do the knowledge, then you will truly understand where I'm coming from. So if you like any of the knowledge that I provided you today, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll see you guys in the next video.